Welcome to the Arrowheads Podcast, your official podcast of the PLL sanctioned supporter group, the Arrowheads, your one-stop shop for Utah Archers lacrosse. Welcome to another episode of the Arrowhead Podcast, your official podcast of the official supporter group for the Utah Archers Lacrosse Club. Super excited for today. I say this every week. I feel like I'm excited every time we talk. But today we have with us the lefty legend, the number one overall pick for the Archers, at least for this year's draft, Mason Woodward. Mason, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys for having me.
Excited to have you on, man. It's been something we've been hoping for this year to talk to the rookies, and we're stoked to have you on. Congrats on the amazing first season. I mean, you come in as a rookie, win a championship. I mean, and the first seasons get much better than that. But, you know, for those of us that know maybe new listeners on the podcast, feel free to introduce yourself. Who is Mason Woodward? Give us your background. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Mason Woodward. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Grew up in Towson area for my whole life. I went to St. Paul's High School in the MIAA. And then I went to Marquette, was at Marquette for 5 years. And yeah, now living in Milwaukee still and coaching at Marquette.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So nice to meet you, Mason. I'm Toast. Just want to say what an honor it is to have you on. We're super grateful to have our rookie legend here. One of the things I was curious about with your background, we did a bunch of digging. So you grew up in Maryland, and one of the things we found out is that you played 3 sports in high school. So you played soccer, hockey, lacrosse. It looked like you were a soccer MVP for your school. One thing I was curious about, what made you stick to lacrosse? Like, what was that period like for you?
I think so. My mom played lacrosse at Roanoke in college, and so she loved the game, and I had a bunch of cousins and uncles that had played, but I really loved the sport, so I always knew growing up that I wanted to play and that it was like super serious to me. But I think in high school I just kind of was like I want to go for this thing. So yeah, the other sports soccer I just grew up doing, and my parents put me in soccer practice when I was young. So it was kind of the same thing. It was the only thing I knew, and I just didn't think to change.
Nice. With that too, I think there are a lot of kids that are playing lacrosse right now that maybe feel like they have this need to only play lacrosse or only focus on lacrosse. Did you feel like it benefited you to have played all 3 and kind of expand your range, or would you recommend really just hammering down on lacrosse?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely would recommend playing multiple sports. I loved playing 3 sports because it gave me something to do all year round and didn't force me to I was able to practice lacrosse on the weekends when I had time, and obviously do the whole fall tournament that every lacrosse player and fan knows that high schoolers and middle schoolers have to go through that. But I enjoyed not having the stick in my hand all day, every day, because it allowed me to not get worn out. And I honestly think that it helped me athletically. Soccer is way different than lacrosse. It's a lot more running, and the defending is way different, which I think helped me see a different perspective for lacrosse. And then same thing with hockey. You're on skates, you have a stick in your hand, so it's kind of similar. And I think a lot of ways in hockey it helps with ground balls, which is cool. But it just allows your mind to not focus on lacrosse and worry about it too much.
I love that. You heard it here first, kids. Play lots of sports. Sorry, lacrosse coaches. But yeah, and play what we call in England football. I love that you gave it a shout out. Like, more kids should play that sport. So
wrong sport.
All right. So Mason, talk us through, you've come through high school, you've gone through college at Marquette. Most of us were first introduced to you in the draft, right? You get called up by the Archers in the first round. talk to us about that recruiting process. I think a lot of us don't really understand what the recruiting process looks like with the PLL. Talk us through your experience, how that worked for you when you found out you're going to the Archers. And then I'd love to get your reaction to be like, okay, I'm going to play for a team in Utah. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I think going into my 5th year, I was super interested. I was fortunate enough that my defensive coach at the time and now a head coach at Marquette, Jake Richard, he plays for the Water Dogs and has played in the PLL for 6 years now with him starting on the Atlas. But he was very fortunate to have him kind of in my ear throughout my college career, but mainly just 5th year and be like, you could go for this. Like, you should really want this. Like, and just kind of giving me a ton of confidence. And so I didn't know what to expect with the recruiting process. And obviously I talked to him and he was, a little bit maybe biased, trying to have me play with him on the Water Dogs. And so I only had one call, and it was with the Atlas and Piper Bond, who I grew up with. So we had played on like an FCA B team together with Connor Marr back in the day. And so he had texted me and was like, hey, like our Coach Bates wants to see some film of you. Like, do you have any clips? And so Jake actually put together a whole like binder of clips from like freshman year, which is pretty funny because it's like no one cares about freshman year, but it's got just kind of the guy who he is. And so we sent that off and I didn't hear anything else. And so draft day, I was honestly kind of worried because I didn't know where I'd fall, when I'd fall, and we had a draft party. And I was like, oh God, like, I don't want to let these guys down. Like, what if we're sitting here for like 30, 45 minutes and my name never gets called? Like, that would be kind of awkward. Like, that would stink. And so the night of the draft, when the Water Dogs pick came up, everyone was getting like super excited, because I think a lot of the guys on our team wanted me to play with Jake and be able to share that experience with him. And then that didn't happen. And everyone was like, okay. Some people like left the room because we had food. And then the Utah came up and I was like, okay, like Piper talked to him, like, hopefully my film was good enough. And the name got called and it was a pretty surreal moment. And I knew as soon as I got drafted, like I was going to a great spot, just because I knew Piper and Marr, and a lot of people have spoken so highly of them, and I speak so highly of them. And also knowing Tom, it's just his character was super cool. And so, yeah, I was like, this is a great spot to be. They won the championship last year, so you can't really ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, 100%. And we are so grateful to the Water Dogs for not picking you. So
Amen.
their loss. And we see how that ended up for them.
Yeah.
So there you go. So you can take that back to practice and be like, hey,
Yeah.
the Arrowhead guys are just saying thank you for not
Yeah.
picking us. So yeah.
I'll make sure I tell them that.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate it and having you on. And I guess my next question is like, you get drafted by Utah. Have you been to Utah before, or was this kind of your first experience? What was it with Utah?
So I've been to Utah twice before then. I went for a club tournament that I was coaching. And then we went out my senior year. We played Utah.
Okay, yeah.
And so that was my second time, and I kind of got to explore, but then we got to see kind of just the state, but super briefly. And the game was super fun. We played at Utah's football stadium, but other than that, have not been out there.
Gotcha. All right.
Okay, I have a follow-up question real quick. Sorry. Which
Go.
tournament were you coaching at and when?
It was, I want to say 3 years ago in the summer, and I'm not sure the name.
Probably the Aloha tournament.
Yeah, it
I'd
could have
imagine.
been.
Yeah.
I went with I was coaching a club out in Wisconsin called Alpha, and
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
I was coaching there, and we had a tournament out there, but I don't
Nice.
remember the name.
I was just going to try and see if I could figure out on this call if Toast was maybe coaching against you at some point for a
I was gonna
local club
say
he was
we
coaching for.
probably were coaching at the
Yeah,
same
for
time.
sure.
It must have been there.
Then I could get some smack talking going, but
Yeah.
that's my whole reason for asking the question. Sorry,
Awesome.
Brady.
Well, after you get this call, how does, no, that's okay. So when you, on draft night, you get announced, do you speak with Coach Bates that night? What does that look like? And can you kind of give us like a picture behind the scenes, what that looks like on a player's perspective?
Yeah, so again, I didn't really, you kind of just see it on the TV that you get drafted. And then Coach Bates texted me like, hey, I'll give you a call once this whole thing is done. And so we kind of were all just hanging out as a team afterwards. Some guys had started to trickle out because it was during exam weeks.
Yeah.
But some of us stayed and just kind of hung out and talked a little bit. And then I ended up getting home, was like about to fall asleep, and then I finally got a call from Coach Bates. I was like, oh, I gotta be locked in for this one, which was cool. And the call was awesome. He supported me and had my back and was like, hey, we knew going into the draft that we wanted to get you and Bo, Dyson, and Colby. And he said that he loved how the draft went. And so we all sat there, and the pick was questioned a little bit. And it was cool when he called me. He was like, no, we believe in you wholeheartedly. And that was awesome to hear, and definitely gave me a lot of confidence in May and just going into training camp.
Yeah. So that was one thing we wanted to kind of mention, because obviously you were a surprise, and that's like, we all knew that after the pick.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been interesting to kind of compare to other teams. It feels like the Archers, their implementation of rookies is a little bit different. It kind of seems more like a slow burner where they kind of slowly implement them in. And we kind of wanted to ask you kind of what that process was with Coach Bates. Like, what does that look like? It seemed like he just let you go out there and have fun, and there wasn't a lot of like pressure in the situation. Can you kind of talk to us about that?
Yeah, I thought the coaching staff as a whole did an awesome job. And obviously, I worked mostly with Coach Resch, and he is just like, can't say enough great things about him. And he did a great job of just trying to coach. And obviously, there's a ton of different coaching philosophies, but he was like very calm, and like he just tries to get to know you. And then once he has a relationship with you, he's able to hold you more accountable because he knows you. So that was cool to see. But yeah, it was cool. Like, you get to training camp and you don't know what to expect. And they just encouraged to like just go be yourself. And that came from Tom as well. Tom was like, hey, just go be you. A lot of people speak highly of you, and just like continue to do what you're doing and you'll be totally fine. So that was like, again, a confidence booster going in training camp to just kind of be who I was and kind of just play lacrosse and not have to worry about too many things.
Wow. So this is going to be my last question. I'm going to hand it off in a sec. But so it sounds like Coach Bates was very specific on drafting players, knowing who they are, and then letting those players be themselves. So that coaching is definitely going to be a factor, but not as much, because he's just going to let you guys do what you guys do on a regular basis anyway.
For sure. And I think it's awesome because he knows that the guy, like, he does his due diligence and gets guys in the doors that have a great background and are going to buy into his culture. And then at that point, like, he doesn't have to do too much management because he knew he did his research. And I honestly think that's the coolest part, and like why he's such a great coach, because he just allows us to be who we are. And obviously, if he sees stuff that isn't aligning with Utah's culture or what he thinks the program should be about, he will step up and say it. But for the most part, he allows you to be who you are because he does that research and because he has a relationship with the guys on the team, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I got a question real quick. One of the things that I thought was really cool about this year was the progression that we made from the start to the end, and how in the beginning it looked a little shaky, especially with a lot of the new guys. We had a lot of new players that we had implemented on this team, but by the end of the season, it felt like everything was clicking, everything was looking really good. Can you talk us through like what were some of the growing pains that happened from transitioning from NCAA to now pro lacrosse?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is just the shot clock and kind of the way that teams play offense. In college, you see a lot of sets and slow things down, get into a set, run that set. If it doesn't work, like shift into another set. And so you're taught like, okay, how are we going to defend this set? How are we going to defend that set? What is the best case scenario? Like be super fundamental and just like play within the system, which is awesome. But then the game is you only have 52 seconds. And then after the face off, you only have 32 seconds. So it's fairly quick. And I think the biggest like growing pain and difference is like you got to go out there and just make plays, which I think is awesome and super fun. Offenses don't run like they have like motions and ideas that they want to do, but for the most part, they're not like in a traditional like 2-3-1 or 1-4-1. And they're just like playing offense and flowing off of each other, which is super cool. And they get creative. But you defensively, like I got in there and I was like, oh, I should help off like top side. I should support that a little bit. And then guys were just throwing it forward and I was caught in like the middle and like Trey Leclerc is stepping in for a step down from 15 yards and getting a 2. And I'm like, I was taught to help out here. And so that was definitely a growing pain going through training camp. And I was getting a little frustrated. I was like, this is kind of how its defense has always been played. And so there's a little shift, but I think the game is played the right way in the pros, like just super fast, like allow guys to just make plays, not like slow everything down, which is cool.
So would you say it's more of like a chemistry thing then for both offense and defense, just kind of having that chemistry together?
For sure. And I think that's why it helped us out so much later in the season. I think we were just gelling and our chemistry was at an all-time high. And again, credit to Coach Bates, like putting in that culture and implementing it to allow guys to be themselves and then grow a great culture. And then again, allowing us to have great chemistry off the field, which kind of brings everything together on the field, which is cool.
Love it.
That's awesome. Sorry, I got another question real quick. I know I'm taking up all the time. I got another one. So talking like specific matchups that you saw throughout the year, most of the time looked like you're playing down low, having to take one of the attackmen. Every single attackman in the league is a star player. So I was curious, like, who do you think the toughest matchup was for you and why?
That's a great question. I think a lot of guys come to mind, and there's only 10 teams, so there's 9 teams that you go against. And there was a lot of tough matchups for different reasons. One guy that pops to mind is just Ross Scott. He is just so quick and super fast and capable with both hands, which makes him a super dangerous dodger. And so guarding him is a pain because he's so good at a lot of different things. But then you look at the Atlas. I was on Xander Dixon, and he is just like he doesn't stop moving on the inside, and is probably one of the better inside guys that I've like seen play the game. He plays it the right way, and he definitely gave me fits a little bit because you go to help or you take your eye off him for a second and he's checking your stick down and then attacking the back of your head. So he was great. But yeah, those 2 guys like pop out right away of just 2 guys I guarded that were awesome.
Awesome.
So Mason, right now, and I don't know if you know this on Instagram. I don't know if you're a big Instagram guy, but the PLO does like these votings for the fans on plays of the year and all those kind of things. And you're actually considered for the top 2 takeaway plays on the season. And first, like your season doesn't come down to 1 or 2 plays. Like we know that you played solid throughout the entire season, and it's like a lot of plays that make you considered for this kind of thing. But One of them is when you strip Romar and kind of make him look like a little bit of a fool and you have a good ground ball around him. And the other one is in that championship game where you get Ryan Conrad from behind, then you hit it too. So can you kind of walk us through which one you would consider being the play of the year and kind of which play was your favorite on those two?
I don't know. I kind of it's just super cool to see that. And you kind of go on Instagram, and I'm seeing a bunch of my family members and friends commenting because they're super into it and pumped that those plays are there, which is awesome. And so I don't know. I love the championship game one was pretty special just because we got to win afterwards. And I was pretty just fired up. That was my first championship that I've ever won. So that play was pretty cool. But I don't know, the one against the Redwoods I liked because I definitely try and take pride in getting ground balls and like just putting my nose over it and kind of going to battle. So, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
No, yeah, that's fair. Do you think you could walk us through that championship one? Because I mean, we're all sitting here on the couch and we all get lit up when we see that play and
Yeah.
super excited.
Bro,
Can you walk us
that might
through
be my
it?
favorite play of all time.
Yeah,
Like, no
honestly,
joke.
that was legit. So can you kind of
Dude,
walk us
thank
through
you.
what you were seeing and your experience?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know who shot it, but Dauber like made an awesome save. Very clean. He caught it, and I just started breaking up field. I was like, all right, Dauber's got this one. Of course. So I'm just gonna go upfield. And so he was able to find me on an outlet, and I was thinking about shooting it right away, but I believe Dunn picked me up, and so I threw like a okay pass to Mac. He had to kind of go upstairs and kind of make an awesome play to catch the ball. And then someone was able to close out after that and maybe not get a shot off that he liked just because the pass wasn't there. And Krebs got a great save on it. And so, but Mac like didn't stop. He didn't quit on the play, and so they were going the other way. And I was like, oh no, like this isn't good. And so Mac did an awesome job of riding him, and he did a championship winning play for sure of like just stopping the Conrad and forcing him to kind of go back. And I guess I was just fortunate enough to be there at the right moment, and like I just tried to swing my stick as hard as I could to see if I could get it loose, and then the ball was on the ground, and I don't know, when I picked it up, I was like, let's just try and shoot this as hard as you can. And if you shoot it low and wide, like all good, we'll get the backup. But if not, it could be a good momentum boost for us. And so I'm just glad it went in.
The way you talk about it is just like so nonchalant, like, oh, we're just gonna shoot it, see how it goes. I don't know, we'll just try and give him a check from behind.
Yeah.
But like when you watch it, you come down like a hammer on that guy, and then you pick it up and nail this too, like super hard. So it's just so funny to hear that comparison, like what we see as a viewer and what's going on
Yeah.
in your head. Oh, that's
So sick.
It was a crazy play, and we all like from what you talked about beginning to end. I mean, I think that's why we all love that play because it was like it could have gone so the other way when you talk about like, oh man, our defender's out of position. This go the other way, and you guys just didn't give up on the play. Like any kid listening, like it's all about the hustle. Like you never give up on the play, and great things can happen. And yeah, props to that. I think a 44% shot percentage is your record for the season. So you know, I'd go
Yeah.
with you shooting at any time. So you got our vote on that one. So
I got to hit the cage a little bit more. I missed a decent bit, but yeah.
hey, you hit the ones that matter, and that's all we care about. So you're making the Instagram. That's
Yeah.
that's the important things. So Mason, talk to us about. I mean, obviously, we're passionate about the Utah weekend, right? I mean, it was the last regular season weekend, the last homecoming. Like we sat here in Utah, being like, "Oh man, come on, get her ready, get her ready." Give us your take on what that weekend was like for you coming in here. What the crowd was like, the experience on the field those 2 days, but also how it compared. I mean, you guys have been around the country. You're from Maryland. You'd had probably family out in Maryland when you played. What was it like coming here in Utah and playing?
it was the spark we needed for sure. Going into that game, we lost two straight, and so I think we were like, "What's going on?" Uh, obviously, Utah won the championship the year before, and so we just weren't meeting expectations at that point because like we were supposed to be awesome and like running away with the division, but we lost two straight. And so I wouldn't say no one in the building was nervous. We knew what we had, we knew what we needed to do to win. But I truly believe that Utah was the weekend that we needed to go on and eventually accomplish our goal of winning a championship. And for most of those guys winning their back to back, I think it's cool because we were there from Thursday to Sunday, so that you're there for a lot longer. And we obviously the first game under the lights on Friday was super cool because it was getting a ton of hype and people were like Utah is going to show out, and so I didn't know what to expect because obviously you can get packed like what's it called, packed seats, but you don't know how the energy is going to be. And man, the energy definitely exceeded expectations. That place was rocking from the opening whistle. And in that game, obviously Tom went down, and it was so cool to see guys like Vano and Dice and a ton of guys step up in those moments and have such great games. And the crowd lifted us. And yeah, that game was special. But then we knew going for the next game against the Outlaws for the division, we're like, all right, we got to do this for Tom. He's pretty much the heart and soul of this team. Like, how can we fight for him out there? But then it also, on top of that, was like, how can we fight for Utah? These fans really believe in us and are buying into what we like to do as a program culturally, like we talked before. And it was like super cool. I think there is I don't know what Instagram had the chants going. Like they made chants for the games, and we loved that. Thought it was awesome. So yeah, it was those two games were definitely my two favorite games of the season, and I thought biasly, I thought it was the best weekend for sure.
Like to hear
Let's
it. That's yeah.
go.
I
We
can't
want to
wait for
keep it
next
that
year.
way. We want to keep it that way every year. Utah's
Oh
just going to
yeah,
be like, I actually kind of like that we're the last weekend because it's like, hey, just save the best till last.
uh
Because
Hey,
huh.
otherwise,
that
we're going to
was
set the bar really high and people are just going to be disappointed wherever else they go. So, yeah, we're going to keep it real here in Utah.
and that
So,
was the worst weekend you'll see in Utah. It only goes up from here.
Yeah, let's go. Austin knows we got to protect the bank.
Yes.
Um,
yes. If you guys can deliver
Absolutely.
like that game against the Outlaws, like to see you score, to see Bo score, like it was just like it just kept ratcheting up. Like it was unbelievable. Like I had one of my kids running around with the Arrowhead flag around the
yeah,
stadium.
the
Like
Congo line that
yeah,
was.
the conga line's happening. We've got chants going. It's just like going bonkers.
I had
And
to check back in a couple times during the game. I was like, this is like super surreal. I'm almost like paying more attention to the crowd at times. I was like, this isn't good. Like, come on.
all right, we'll keep it at a level where we don't distract you too
Yeah.
much. We'll make sure there's a balance here, guys. So yeah,
We'll
we'll
have
keep
a chant
No,
just for you to stay focused, not get
yeah.
distracted.
pay attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you guys got to keep doing what you're doing. I just got to be more of a pro about it.
No, we want to distract the other team. We'll come up with chance for them. So yeah, I did think I got at least one of the Denver players. He tried like a one-handed shot, and I yelled like, "You got to be in, you got to be in, and you got to be an archer to do that." And he looked over me. I'm like, so I got him distracted, so it's good. So yeah.
Yeah.
If
We love
nothing
that.
else, us English are good at heckling athletes, so
Yes.
that's great.
We may, if you guys keep showing out, we may have to expand the stadium a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll get Ryan Smith to build us our own lacrosse stadium. How about
There
that,
we
Ryan?
go.
I'm sure
There we
Ryan
go.
Smith is an avid listener, so get the checkbook out. So
That's the
that's what
dream,
we need. We're
man.
not playing in a
That's the
soccer
dream.
stadium. Get a lacrosse stadium,
Oh
same
yeah.
view. Yeah, it'd be perfect. So yeah, actually, like I could got a lot across the street from me that's empty right now. I mean, if we could
There
probably
you
fit a
go.
lacrosse field on there, like be easy for me. All right, Mason. So you go from Utah, going to the playoffs. Dauber has his like ridiculous game, right? I mean, one goal, which is absolutely insane. Then you get to the championship game. Like as a rookie, you're walking out, you're playing Maryland for one, you know, you're probably your family's home team, right? And now you're like, and you're in this championship game, and there's you're as a rookie coming into the defending champions. So talk to us like what that was like coming out in that field and just playing in that game.
It was super cool. It was a awesome day to begin with. Definitely super sunny. The stadium there is unbelievable. It's right on the water. And it was a great atmosphere right from the get-go, but I think it was kind of calmed me down to see all the guys around me who've obviously most of the guys besides the rookie played in a championship game the year before, so they had all been there. So it was definitely calming to see how they reacted in warmups. But again, to Coach Bates, like just telling us to go be us and play for Tom and go win this thing was super reassuring and allowed us to settle in. And obviously, the first couple minutes didn't go our way a little bit, but he just can, what's it called? Encouraged us to just stay the course and continue to do what we've done all season. And we don't do that without Dauber standing on his head. So,
Yeah. And just I think we told Dauber this, like, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Utah doesn't have a lot of sports teams in general, and especially those that have won a championship. I know you guys have done it back to back years, so I think it's the most winningest sports team in
let's go.
Utah, and you've only been here a year. So congratulations on that. So yeah, super excited for you guys, and it was just great to see you guys come together in the season and how it came certainly at the end, and just feel that energy just ride all the way through Utah to the championship. So it was awesome to see.
Yeah, and we just got a couple more questions for you before we wrap
Perfect.
this up. We wanna be careful with our time with you. We really appreciate you having us with you. One of the things as we look forward into next year, we kind of want to just get your opinion on what this offseason looks like, what this next year looks like, maybe what the team needs are. There's kind of been a little bit of talk amongst fans that you might be pushed into more of an LSM role with how awesome you were in transition. Do you feel like you're going to be playing more of an LSM? Do you think you're going to stay low with Jeffrey and Haas? What do you think this next year is going to look like for you?
Great question. Obviously, I'll kind of do whatever Coach Bates asks, and willing to do whatever he thinks is best for the team. But for as terms as the off season, this is my first off season, so gonna have to get some advice from the older guys, and a lot of our older guys are playing box, so they get to kind of play year round. But gonna kind of lean on practice at Marquette and lace up the cleats a little bit and make sure I'm getting my workouts in and getting my stick in my hand. So I get to shoot on the goalies, which gives me something to do every day, but maybe getting my pole in there a couple times. But yeah, I'm excited for the off season. It's cool to let your body kind of relax after the season because went straight from like college playing in the spring to right into playing in the summer. So never got a chance to relax. So it's definitely taking that time right now, but excited to get back after it a little bit and attack the weight room and try and find some holes in my game that I can improve, so we can come back and get ready for a three-peat.
Awesome.
Love it.
Are you going to
Love it.
implement ice cream at Marquette? That's the only question.
I would love to. I'm a huge ice cream guy. Me and Fields have definitely been keeping up talking about our ice cream, our love for ice cream. But we have a scrimmage this weekend in Baltimore, and there's a Cold Stone right next to our hotel that we're staying at. So
Dangerous.
I might have to encourage them if we do well that I'll treat them all.
Hey, us Utahns are known for our ice cream, so you guys need to come out and just do like an ice cream tour at some point.
Yes,
So,
we do. That would be awesome. The chocolate factory's out there.
Yeah.
yep.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of things out here, man.
Shout out,
We
Bo.
All right, Brady.
Okay, so truth be told, I was gonna have my little brother on today. His name is Barrett, but we call him B-Rat. That's his nickname.
Sweet.
And actually today is his birthday. It's his 17th birthday.
Let's go.
So I was gonna have him on and get a chance to ask you a question or so, but he actually had practice today, so he wasn't able to come. So I was wondering if you could give him a little bit of a shout out, maybe tease him a little bit, tell him not to kiss so many girls or something in the meantime. But if you could give him a shout out, that'd be awesome birthday gift for him because I mean he had a little bit of a man crush on you throughout the season and when
Yeah.
so I know that he would appreciate it for sure.
Is he lacrosse practice?
He is at lacrosse practice. Yep.
Let's go. He better not be slacking on the birthday.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was surprised. He's like, dude, you're going to practice on your birthday, but yeah, he's killing it.
So what year is he in high school?
He is a junior this year.
Nice. Is he looking to continue to play?
I don't think so. He's more of a casual player, to be
Awesome.
honest. He loves the sport. Like as far as a fan goes, like I think he's going to be a fan for life, but it's more of like an outlet for him rather than like hey, this is my career that I want to pursue. Even though he could go to the next level if he dedicated the time, that's for sure.
For sure. Awesome. Well, B-Rad, happy birthday. Don't be slouching off in school now that you're 17 and you got a couple more years until you can live out some bar life or whatever you guys like to do out in Utah.
Ice cream.
We don't condone that.
Heard it here first, guys.
Awesome. Okay, well, we appreciate that. Thank you for coming on. As you know, like the motto for every team, the Archers have one, and it's above all else win, and that's what we always close out with. So we appreciate you having on. I think this was like the most informative one that I've been on. I learned most about the Archers culture and about their team setup in this interview than I have in the other one. So I thought that was way fun.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This was awesome. It's cool to see some fans and it's awesome to see what you guys are doing. So thank you and keep it up. We'll be definitely watching out and excited to get back in Utah in a little bit less than a year from now and see the banner go up and chase for another one.
Yeah.
Let's make it 3, baby. Let's make it 3.
For sure. Now we got to root for Utah Hockey Club to bring it home.
Yeah.
I think we were 3-0 last time I checked. I don't know if
3-1. We lost.
3-1, we lost.
Yeah.
Is
New
it still
Jersey.
preseason?
That's a good question.
I'm just gonna say I'm okay with the hockey club doing really well but not winning so that we maintain the fact that we are the only team to win a championship. So sorry, hockey fans. All right, Mason, seriously, thank you so much for being on with us tonight. It's great to connect with you, and again, congrats on a phenomenal rookie season. The plays you had were amazing. Great to see the defense come together. And again, 44% safe shot, 44% shot percentage. Like, man, just get you like long stick attack is what they call it. So yeah, just get you up there.
we got the best attack in the league, so we'll let those guys do what they do and keep scoring and allowing us to win.
Just imagine the curveball though when they see your name on attack, right? Coaching starts like, how do we manage this? So other teams gonna throw them off.
Yeah,
all about that. So all right, Brady, take us out.
Okay, well, we appreciate you having you on, and as always, above all else win, man. Let's go.
For sure, let's go. Thank you, guys.
Beautiful.
Thanks, guys. This podcast is not affiliated with the Premier Lacrosse League or Archers Lacrosse Club. This is an independent, fan-run podcast.